Welcome to Discovering My Untold Story workshop. This is a hands-on experience for anyone who is thinking that, oh, I'm just going to turn this on and listen. No, I'm going to be giving you opportunities to answer some questions, and you will have an opportunity to pause the recording and go in there and answer the question. So those are my expectations of this workshop. And the first opportunity I will give you in talking about Discovering My Untold Story workshop is, what are your expectations of attending this? What do you hope to learn? What do you hope to walk away with? Is it something about your business? Is it learning something new that you can write about as part of a memoir? Are you just curious? Do I have a story and how would I find it? So that's where we're starting, that you have a foundation of, what do I want to learn from this? I'm Mary Knippel, the Soul Story Mentor, and I designed this workshop as a way for you to go a little deeper with how you are being visible and what you are sharing, so that the people who need you will understand that you get them, that you have what they need. One of my favorite quotes is by Maya Angelou. There is no greater agony than an untold story. And that's where the title of our workshop came from. And that's what I do, is help my clients hear the whispers and craft that story that is meant to be shared, that the world is needing to hear from you and you are longing to tell. Because we have so many life experiences that have shaped us, so many lessons we've learned from things that we have coped with and gave us skills in how to show up as the resilient, powerful women that we are. So the first writing opportunity that I will offer to you is that you make a list of up to 10 life experiences that have changed the trajectory of your life. It doesn't have to be earth-shattering. It doesn't have to be, wow, that turned my world upside down. It's something that made a difference for you. Making that decision or having that circumstance happen to you, for you, that changed the path you were on. I'm not going to give you examples yet. I want you to create your list, and don't prioritize them. Don't go into significance, or maybe that one doesn't count because I was only, no, the first 10 things that just you download that come into your stream of consciousness. We're going to go with those. So I'm going to pause the recording while you go after them. And I'll see you on the other side. Welcome back. Okay, now you have an idea of, things that have happened that really made a difference in your life. And when you think about, there are so many that happen to us on a daily basis, and things just fly by because Well, it's just life, and everybody has that. And the thing is, not everybody has your experience because you're the only one that knows your story from the inside out. You're the only one that knows how this life experience changed you, what it did to impact you, what it meant, and the shifts you had to make, how you changed internally as well as externally, probably. I've had 3 breast cancer experiences. And after when I got the first diagnosis, I had outpatient surgery and slipped right into my normal routine because that's what I wanted. And my whole world wanted me. My family was like, are we okay now? Are we back to normal? And I thought we were because that's what the surface level was. Internally, I know I was reeling from how could this happen? 3.5 years later, I got the same diagnosis. And this time I decided this is my wake up call. I can't wait any longer to write my story, get them out of my journals and into print. And I wrote a very bad first draft, but many rewrites later, I published The Secret Artist. Give yourself permission to let your creativity shine, using excerpts from my journal. And that's how I used writing as a healing tool, as a process for me to understand what was going on with me and how I could help other women tell their stories. I told my story and I gave writing prompts at the end of every one of my essays that gives the reader an opportunity to share their story, to dive into what has happened in their life and how they have changed. And that's what I'm hoping that you discovering your untold story will mean to you, that you will see how your life experiences has informed who you are and given you tools to step up and do what you've dreamed of doing. I always wanted to be a writer. I wasn't encouraged because it wasn't practical, but I persevered and I found ways to use my writing. And stepping into writing my story and as a journalist helping other women write their stories, I see I am fulfilling my mission of helping women's voices be heard. And that's what I love to do. I love hearing people say, nobody's ever asked me anything like that before. And what gives me chills is when someone says, I've never talked about this before. Because that means that we got under the surface. We heard the whispers, and together we crafted the message that this individual was designed to share. And I'm there as a safe, sacred space to give them that landing spot to open up and share that untold story. And that's what I am inviting you into. You opening up to that untold story that you haven't told. Now, the next writing experience that I'm going to invite you into is to go look at that list of 10 things or however many you came up with, and pick one, the one that calls to you or the one that's the top of the list, or the one that you're intrigued by, or the one that you go, how did that get on the list? Pick one, and we'll take a few minutes to write why you're writing about it right now. Write as many details as you can think of. Talk about the day. Talk about the weather. Talk about who was there, what you were wearing, how you were feeling. Not just the date and, oh yeah, this is when I got the phone call. This is when I got that form letter with a check mark that said, you have an abnormal mammogram. Tell us all of the rich moments that happened in this experience. Put us in the scene with you, like we were right there. No detail is too small. This is you painting the picture of that experience so we feel it too. Okay, I'm going to pause the recording and give you a chance to go in and do that writing about one event. Okay, great. Now, I'm sure that there were other things that came up when you were writing about that one event. And you may have more downloads about, well, I should have put this one on the list, and I should have done that. That one's bigger. That really made, because there are so many things that change the trajectory of our life without us even being aware of it. I believe that nothing is random. Synchronicity is always working for us. It's just that at the moment, we don't see how the connections are there. We don't see, well, I was late getting started for work today, and because I couldn't find my keys or had to clean up some spilt milk, and I missed that big accident on the freeway. I had to reschedule this appointment, so I wasn't in the building when there was a gas leak. You know, whatever. It was a tragedy when I lost my job, but I got an even better one doing what I love. This is my calling. That other job, well, it got me started. It gave me more of a chance to recognize, what do I want? Because I was going after something to pay the bills instead of what was going to feed my soul. And now I have that. So it's, in the moment, you don't see, how is having breast cancer for the third time a gift? Well, having breast cancer at all could be considered a tragedy. However, when you put it in perspective, this is like, it put me on a path of saying yes to more of what was fulfilling me than being the good girl who showed up as everybody else expected me to. Shy Quiet Mary is out there speaking. Shy Quiet Mary is talking to people about, your story matters. And me telling my story offers hope to others. That is my mantra for anyone who will listen to me. I believe that we all have a story that the world needs to hear. Imagine a beautiful tapestry, and that paints an absolutely incredible picture of I don't care, whatever, you know, fills you up. A nature scene, birds, birds in midair, a castle on the Rhine. You know, think about all the threads that are in that tapestry that make up that picture. And our individual story is one of those threads. And if we don't tell our story, then that picture isn't complete. And when we tell our story, that offers hope to somebody else because they can see if we did it, then there's a chance that they can do it too. That's hope. Something else is possible for them. They could do it too because we are modeling what's possible. Just by showing up and sharing what we have done to move us into the life that we want, to move us further into knowing our soul story, knowing our transformation, and being the best that we can be in this one life that we are blessed to live. So now I'm going to invite you to think about who you're talking to when you're sharing this story. Who's your ideal reader? If you're writing this for your business, who's your ideal client? Who is it that you are wanting to have an impact on? So that's the next writing opportunity that I'm going to invite you into, is to write down some characteristics of your ideal reader. How do you want them to feel? What do you want them to do when they finish reading what you are sharing? What do you want them to know? With as much detail as possible, that is your next writing opportunity. Paint the picture of your ideal reader or your ideal client. How was that experience? Did that come easily or was it a struggle? Because remember, once you know the untold story that you are meant to share, having an idea of the person that you are having an impact on, knowing who you are talking to, what you want them to feel, know, do after they read it, helps inform how you craft it and where you share it. Whether it's part of the solo book that you're going to write, it's part of a co-author book, it's part of an article, it's the tagline for your newsletter, it's how you introduce yourself, it's part of your bio, it's part of your talk when you go out there speaking, or it's going to be how you live your life, it's your philosophy. And it's how they will know that you are who they are looking for. When some new business people are excited about, oh, wow, I'm in the skincare industry, I can help anyone in the skin. Well, on the surface, that is true. However, We all have different pigmentations. We have different ages. Our skin ages differently. I look at my hands now. I have my mother's hands, age spots. And so when you narrow down who you're talking to so that you can actually have an idea of a composite drawing, if you will, of who you are talking to, it makes them feel like they are that you are talking to them individually. That's the ideal communication. That they feel seen by you. And I get emotional when I get so wrapped up in you knowing your story so that your people can find you. Because you have such a, a gift and they need that. But unless you are transparent and vulnerable in sharing who you are and why you are so passionate about showing up for them, they won't know. They won't know you. And that's why writing is such a healing tool. Why writing is valuable, because it helps you get to know you. And in turn, you share your story, and the people who need you can find you. And finally, I invite you to take a minute to look at that story that came up when I first invited you to put us in the scene, put us right there with you, and think about, why were you writing about that today? What's the significance? And is it something that we need to go deeper into? And if you decide that, I do want to go deeper into that, and I could use Mary's help. I could use her 40 years as a journalist to guide me in discovering not only the significance of this untold story, but what else could I be sharing? What else could my people need to hear from me? And with that, I invite you to schedule a time to talk to me. You can get right to my calendar at maryeeknippel.com/contact. And let's have a chat about how I can support you to find your untold story and to connect with who needs to find you. And when you have had a chance to do some of these writing experiences and thought about, I did satisfy my intentions for this workshop, I'd love to hear that. I'd love to hear how what we talked about today made a difference for you. Now, did you see something that you love doing show up on your list and you're not doing it anymore? Or, better still, something that you have done all your life and it's how you are helping people. It's your gift and it feeds your soul and feeds the souls of people around you. I thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you next time. I'm Mary Knippel, the Soul Story Mentor. Thank you.